Hi everybody, Matt Bernier joined by DRF National Handicapper Mike Watchmaker, the second of three for this weekend's Weekend Warrior, February the 4th. Aqueduct, race number 8. It's a grade 3 event for 3-year-olds. It's the Withers going 1.16 on the inner dirt. You've got a full field of 10 in here, Mike. They're all going to need to beat El Arib, but I know you have a bit of a, maybe not reservation, but something that at this point he needs to prove it to you a little bit more.
Well, yeah, Matt, he's going to prove that, he can go 2 turns in a squarely run race on a fast track, which is what he's going to get. I mean, look, when El Arib won the Jerome last time out, he did it. It was his first start around 2 turns. He did it by a double-digit margin, but that race was run on a muddy racetrack. It was a very wet racetrack, and it's handicapping 101, I think, that, you're supposed to be very skeptical of horses coming off big wins on wet racetracks when they're running back on what will be a dry track, and the weather forecast in the New York area is dry through Saturday. So he's going to catch a completely different racing surface. And the other thing that bothered me a little bit about El Arib's Jerome, I mean, and maybe it's nitpicking, but he won that race by an explosive margin. I think the margin was like 11.25 lengths or something like that. I mean, under the circumstances, you would have thought that he would have freaked on the Beyer scale. And he got a 91. And while the 91 is tops in this field, it's not nearly as big as I thought that he was going to get before I actually sat down and did my own work too. And I agree. I didn't think it was a blowout number by any stretch of the imagination. He did run fast when he won a stake down in Maryland 2 starts back. He ran faster. He got a 94 Beyer figure that day, but that was sprinting. He's going 2 turns on a dry main track this time around, and he's going to be overbet off this big win last time out on a surface that he's not going to get this time.
Let's talk about the outside runner, because that's who you landed on, the 10, J-Boys Echo for Dale Romans and Robbie Alvarado. They had flirted with the idea of running in the Holy Bull against Classic Empire. They're going to come north and run here in the Withers, and he had a bit of an odd run in the Delta Jackpot.
It was a weird trip. I mean, and it's worth going back and checking the replay through Formulator. I mean, it's worth looking at. In any event, J-Boys Echo was close early in the Delta Jackpot, and then he was caught 3 to 4 wide around the first turn. He fell back in the middle stages in the run down the backstretch. He was 4 to 5 wide around the far turn. He was at least 7 wide turning for home. He was widest of all, and it looked like he was being eased. And then when he came back in the picture, he finished a willing 4th on his own courage. Now, he was soundly beaten in that race, but still, it was a very odd trip for a horse who looked good winning his prior start going 2 turns at Keeneland. I mean, yes, it was a race with trouble, and he was lucky to avoid the trouble, but J-Boys Echo in that Keeneland maiden win was a winner from the instant they opened the gate. I mean, he had winner written all over him, and he just won easily that day. I think this horse has potential. He's reunited with Robbie Alvarado, who rode him in his first 2 career starts. I like the shift from Gulfstream to New York this time of year. Horses coming into the cooler weather, it's going to really perk him up. I just think he's a logical alternative if, like me, you have a policy of going against big win horses on different surfaces last time out.
Todd Pletcher saddles a pair in here. Kieran McLaughlin saddles a pair in here. Chad Brown has an impressive maiden winner last out in this spot. Anyone else that you're interested in using along with J-Boys Echo?
It would be the Chad Brown horse apart from the crowd. I mean, every race has been better than the one before, and he won big over the track going 2 turns last time out, and he got an 81 Beyer figure, which is fits very nicely in this spot. And this is somewhat aggressive race placement for this horse, and I just think that he's the other horse. I'm just going to try and knock El Arib completely out of the number here.
Race 8 at Aqueduct Saturday afternoon. The Grade 3 Withers. Purse is $250,000, 1.16 on the inner dirt. Mike's going to go with the 10, J-Boys Echo, Robbie Alvarado, with Dale Romans as the trainer. We're going to take a break, come back with the 3rd and final race for this weekend's Weekend Warrior. We'll go out to the West Coast, Santa Anita Park, San Antonio.